Good morning. Good morning. We are live. Get everything working. Make sure our audio is connected. Video looks good. And we are good to go. So good morning again for another Saturday morning breathwork and meditation practice. If you were able to see the thumbnail before clicking in today, we are going to practice letting go. So a couple of things that you may need for today's practice: some type of cushion, rolled up blanket, pillow, something to be underneath your bum while you're seated to give yourself a little bit more cushion, a little bit more support while you're going to be seated today. We do have a 9-minute meditation today. So some type of cushion. You may want to grab a little bit of water and some tissue as well, because the Kriya that we do today will be quite active. So you may work up a little bit of heat. It's also going to use breath of fire. So again, if you're dealing with Texas allergies right now, you may have some of this kind of stuff going on. So have that handy just in case. But again, it's all about release today and letting go. And I want to build off of what we were talking about last week. So we are in Mars Retrograde. We've got a lot of these feelings coming up, a lot of this, depending on where you're at on that spectrum. It could either be being expressed as anger, it can be being expressed as depression, but there's generally just this build up and this sort of tension there. So we want to practice letting go today. And I was reading one of my sort of like inspirational quotes books that I go to, and it's called The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. Can look that up if you'd like. And essentially what it is, it just goes by each day and gives you a little thing to think on. And the one for today, September 26th, is titled Putting Down Pain. And it says, "The time has come to put our stones down, for hands clutching stones can't freely drum." I want to just plant the seed with that a little bit to think about maybe what that means to you, maybe how that could be showing up into your life. So times where we are so fiercely clutching a thing, grasping onto a thing, an idea, a feeling, a plan that we already had that fell through. Maybe there are times where we're still clutching to that and we're not quite able to let it go and open up and make that room for what's coming next. So we're going to practice that today. We're going to work on our heart space too, for giving ourselves sort of like that space, that permission, that openness, that compassion to move forward with all of these changes. Try to move forward as best we can with this collective grief that we're all sort of moving through. So we're going to get big and active and do a little bit of breath of fire with lion's paw. Open all of this up. Feel a lot more at ease with this space. Work on the lymphatic system as well. And when we get there, I'll read you a little blurb that's included in the manual. So that's going to be all of my spiel for today. Next week, we will take a little bit of a deeper dive into Libra season, but just know for now, it's an air sign. So you're going to really want to tend to that heart chakra for this season. So allow yourself to come seated onto your mat. And we'll take a few moments just to get grounded, to connect to our breath a little bit, and to introduce you to a letting go breathwork technique that you can practice anytime you're feeling maybe a little bit too much tension, however that feels in your body, wherever that may be. So maybe it could be your neck and shoulders, it could be the face, it could be clenching the jaw, it could be actual hands. Notice where that shows up for you. So again, just let yourself be in that seated cross-legged position. Turn your gaze inward and upward now to the third eye. And begin your practice of letting go as you just gaze to your inner world. Focusing on your breath. Extending that deep inhale through the nose. Smooth exhale through the nose. Anchoring yourself now to this moment, this breath. Bringing your awareness and focus to the rhythm and the fluidity of the breath. Concentrating on making that a smooth, fluid motion between your inhale and your exhale. Letting all the other responsibilities, identities, your to-do lists, just fall away for now. This is your time that you have made to connect with yourself, mind, body, spirit. Listening to what it is that you would like to communicate to yourself. Again, focusing in on the breath, noticing how it shows up in the body. As you breathe, allow your practice of letting go to begin in the belly. So really relaxing the belly there, letting the breath originate from the diaphragm. Deep belly breathing. This may be the deepest breaths that you've taken all day. Still keeping that gaze at the third eye. Let the palms face upwards now. And as you inhale, move those palms so that you're clenching the hands into fists. On the exhale, release and relax. Open the palms up. And continue that movement there. Creating the fist on the inhale. Releasing and letting go. Opening the hands on the exhale. Continuing here for a few rounds at your own pace. Notice the difference here in how your body feels between building that tension on the inhale and releasing, relaxing letting go on the exhale. Very good. Bring the hands into heart center now, allowing the palms to touch. Feel the knuckles of the thumbs against the sternum here. Continue that long, deep breathing as you focus now on your sensation of touch, noticing where your body is connected to the ground, focusing on that foundation. It may be the side of your foot, your ankle, your calf or knee, the sit bones underneath your bum. Wherever those spaces are connected, use those areas now to push back down against the earth as you root and rise up through the rest of your posture. So lengthening the spine, one vertebrae at a time, almost as if someone was pulling a string up through the crown of your head. With each inhale, you feel the ribs widen out to the side. Each exhale, rise and lengthen through the spine, creating more lift in the chest, relaxing the shoulders. Creating more space. On your next inhale, bring both shoulders up towards the ears. On the exhale, roll them down and back so that they sit just a little lower than before. From here, begin to rub the palms together briskly while you take a moment to set an intention for today's practice. We are focused on letting go, focused on centering ourselves so that we're neither too far in anger or too far in depression, but right in the middle, in a space where we can create our own joy. And when you have that intention set, can find stillness at heart center. Then press those palms together just slightly. Feel the knuckles of the thumbs against your chest. Gaze is still at the third eye. Chin slightly down and back. And from here, we tune in with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Asking our highest consciousness to lead us and guide us through today's practice, to move past our reactions into a conscious state of response and letting go. Recognizing that that power is already within us, as long as we find the stillness to listen. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Apply Mobun. So squeeze up on the anal sphincter, the sex organs. Pull that energy upwards. Visualize it spiraling up through the crown of the head, all the way from the base of the spine. And before it's uncomfortable, exhale slowly, smoothly through the nose. Bring those hands to either the tops of the knees or maybe to the ground if you still need a little bit more grounding energy. But take a moment here, keep that gaze still inward and upward, and take a moment to witness the space that you've created. Do a quick body scan to notice where you may be hanging on to a bit of tension. And take a moment to celebrate where you may have already created a bit of expansion just by vibrating and projecting your own voice. Check in with the mind. Notice how calm or how busy it may be today. And we will work on getting more to center through the rest of our practice. So when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. We're going to do a bit of warm-ups here. Just getting the body warm, trying to balance the chakras a little bit before we get to our meditation. So keep those hands on top of the knees here, and now rotate the heart center around the base of the spine. Using your breath to anchor you through these movements, we're going to inhale as we move forward, exhale as we move back. You can choose any direction, because we will switch it up in just a bit. I will watch the time and let you know. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause and then begin rotating in the opposite direction. Still inhaling forward, exhaling back. Again, still letting that breath originate from the belly, from the diaphragm. Getting those big breaths of oxygen into the body. Slowly begin to make your circle smaller and smaller until you come to a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Take a moment to stretch out those legs. So let them come in front of you. Maybe bounce the knees up and down a little bit. Do a little windshield wiper motion. Maybe flex the legs, flex the feet. So from the tips of the toes all the way up to the tops of the hips. Feel that flex through the entire leg. Very good. Okay, bring those legs back into cross-leg position. Let the hands come to the front of the shins. And here we begin flexing that lower spine, that lower lumbar area. Again, anchoring with the breath, flexing forward on the inhale, flexing back on the exhale. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale. The hands come to the front of the knees now, so much that you have no bend in the elbow. You want to keep the arms straight throughout. And this time we are bringing that flex a little bit more up the spine. So the flex here is now more from the chest and the upper spine as we flex forward, still inhaling, exhaling as we roll back. That straightened elbow just allows you to get a little bit more leverage here. Try to keep the neck and the chin still as stable as possible. We really just want to get that flex and that movement from the spine and the chest area to open that space up. Good. Inhale forward. Exhale completely. Bring the hands now to the tops of the shoulder blades. Fingers in front, thumbs in back. We're going to twist here from the rib cage, so staying very grounded. Remember that rooting foundation we had at the beginning of our practice. Again, anchoring with the breath. Twisting towards the left on the inhale, right on the exhale. Good. Keep those elbows lifted. Inhale forward. Exhale, let the arms come down again, either to the tops of the knees or to the ground, depending on what you need here. Again, take a moment, let the breath regulate. check in with your space. Very good. Okay, from here, begin to use the nose to draw circles in front of you, letting the nose guide you. Again, anchoring the breath here as we inhale on the upward rotation, exhaling as we rotate downward. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the muscles on the face. On your next exhale, take a moment to pause. We're going to begin rotating in the opposite direction. Still inhaling up, exhaling down as you draw circles with the end of your nose. Slowly begin to make your circles smaller and smaller until you come to a neutral space at center. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And take a moment to come into child's pose. You want to open up those shoulders, open up the back body just a little bit more. If you need a pillow or booster, something to give you a little bit more space between touching the ground, go ahead and do that as well, depending on what your flexibility is feeling like. But just let your forehead come down to the mat, and you can either let the arms come out straight in front of you this way, or you can let them fall behind you, whatever feels more comfortable for you. But keep in mind, we're trying to stretch out this area. We're trying to do some long, deep breathing into that back body to open it up and really get it ready for our Kriya that comes next. So just take a moment here to do some long, deep breathing. Again, notice how the breath is showing up in the body. Okay, deep inhale here. Big exhale. Practice letting go. And your next inhale. So the palms come underneath the shoulders. Use the hands to push yourself up slowly, slowly, so that the head is the last thing to rise. And from here, we will move to our Kriya. It's a bit of a Kriya meditation combo. So if you've got a cushion or you've got a rolled up blanket or something that you'd like to be seated on today, now is definitely the time to grab that. And get our track ready. So this one is actually by Icona, and it is a song to magnify your radiance, and it works on the electromagnetic field of the brain. So we're going to rewire some of our neural pathways here. We're going to work on our lymphatic system because we've got a bit of an arm movement that we'll be moving to. So all the lymphatic system here will be great to move that drainage along and filter the body. And it says here, this is in the KRI Aquarian Teacher Manual for level 1. And it says the short one exercise Kriya has a powerful and immediate effect on the brain and its electromagnetic field. The pressure in the hand position triggers reflexes in the fingertips to each area of the brain. The movement of the arms moves the lymph in the lymphatic system. It also pressurizes the nervous system to change its current state. The breath of fire added to the motion enhances functioning of the pituitary and stimulates the pineal gland to increase the radiance and subtle frequency of the brain's production. So what does that mean? It means that this is one of those like pretty close to total body tune-ups for yourself, because again, we're working on the heart area, working on the chest area. So we're opening all of that up. We're inviting ourselves up to be in more a receptive, confident space. We're doing the lymphatic flush to keep the body healthy, keep those toxins moving through. We're working on the nervous system. So when we are faced with new changes, when we're faced against things that butt up against those edges of our comfort zone, those edges of where our brain is sort of already programmed to go based on our experiences and our life and our programming of where we grew up. It will help us to settle, to let go, and to create new creative ways of moving forward, new creative ways of responding to these different changes, responding to new information, responding to new stimulus that comes into our world. So let's do this practice here, letting go. We are going to have the hands be in what's called lion's paw. So it is this very tense sort of claw feeling, and it's very important to keep that there throughout the Kriya. We will start in this hands out parallel movement, and you will alternate movements as we bring it up over the crown of the head. Right now, I've got one hand in front of the other. I will come back down, and then I'm going to switch directions so now that one's in the back. And this whole time, it looks kind of interesting, and it feels even more interesting, but you're going to want to keep that flex in there. Even if you feel little twitches, even if you feel impulses coming through, you're just working on those nerve endings, working on those pathways. So that will be the movement there. And then the breath will be a breath of fire. So essentially what it will look like is you'll have the tummy pumping, right? Breath of fire. You want to flex with that solar plexus area, and it'll be a rapid movement. So I'll give you a preview. And it'll make more sense. We have a track that's in tempo that you can keep the movement with, and that will help kind of push you through a little bit. And the mantra that I kind of is repeating throughout for the next 9 minutes, it is Aung San Wahe Guru. So we've been studying Wahe Guru recently, like this like heck yes feeling of exuberance and excitedness and kind of just feeling like we want to celebrate how awesome things are. And Aung San means this part is a part of everything. So again, we want to remember as we go about these changes, as we work through the state of where we're in the world right now and what you're dealing with, not just on a macro level, but a micro level in your local community, in your family unit. How can you deal with these things and still keep in mind, okay, I'm a part of all of this. I have a space within the universe, and remembering that we're all connected there and using that to find joy. So we'll get right to it. I have rambled enough. Do your best. When you feel yourself hitting up against that wall, find a way to let go. Find a way to move through it. You got this. You're doing great. Keep going. your arms get tired and you need to take a moment, still just visualize yourself making a movement while breathing. Very good. Keep that movement now. Keep the breath still, but let the tongue come out for the breath. So it's like a dog pant here. Very good. You made it. Bring those hands up overhead. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Hold the breath in, but still focus on releasing tension in the body. Exhale. Keep the hands up. Inhale deeply. Suspend the breath. Still focus on relaxing the body while keeping that breath retained. Before it's uncomfortable, exhale through both nostrils. Bring the hands down. Shake the arms out if you need to. We'll take the next 3 minutes to meditate on your heart space. Check in with how you're feeling. You can either let the hands come crossed over the heart, or just let the hands come down to the tops of the knees, maybe in Gyan Mudra. And if you'd like, you can chant along. Wahe Guru, Wahe Jio. Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru. 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 Wahe Guru, Wahe Jio. Very good. Let's continue this breathing here. Long, deep breathing. Let's come back to inhaling, creating those fists with the hands. Exhaling, practice letting go. deeply. Exhale completely. Take a moment now to just roll out the wrists. Maybe give yourself a little massage to those arms, to those forearms. Give yourself a little squeeze. You can practice stretching out the wrist and flexing the forearm here by just slightly pulling back on the wrist here. Both directions, pushing down, just flexing that. Seeing how that feels for you. On both sides. Flexing out, stretching out that arm. Very good. Okay, now you can bring yourself lying down onto your back for deep relaxation. Definitely earned it. That is a very tough one. 9 minutes. Opening the chest, working on the heart center. Now we will integrate all of the work that you've put in today into the rest of the body. So allow yourself to keep the feet spread as wide as your mat. Let the arms fall away from the sides of the body. Palms facing up. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. And begin to relax the breath as you sink into your support. Relaxing the tops of the feet, the ankles, calves, knees and thighs. Relax the hips. As you relax the breath, relax the belly. Relax the lower back. Relax the rib cage and the shoulder blades. Again, as you melt deeper into the ground. Relax the hands. Relax the forearms, the elbows. Relax the shoulders once more, making sure they're away from the ears. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw, so there's space between the teeth. The muscles on the face. The eyes behind the eyelids. Brow. Forehead. Scalp are all at ease as you rest gently against the ground. Rest now as your body integrates and heals all of its 3 trillion plus cells. Slowly begin to deepen your breath as you return back to your body in this moment in time and space. Begin to invite tiny movements into your fingertips and toes. Rotate the hands around the wrists and the feet around the ankles in all directions. On your next inhale, bring the feet together, bring the arms up overhead for a full body stretch. Just like you're waking up in the morning. On the exhale, bring the knees into the chest slowly. Give yourself a hug. Rock from side to side. Give that lower back some love. Massage those kidneys and adrenal glands. From here, begin to briskly rub together the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet, rub the tongue along the roof of the mouth, stimulating the body's energy centers and meridian points. And from here, you can either rock and roll along the spine at least 3 times to come to seated, or you can simply turn yourself over to one side and push yourself up with your hands. And that concludes today's practice on letting go. We will close out by returning once more to our intention for today's practice. So let those hands come into heart center. Take a moment to check in with that. Take a moment to celebrate yourself again for making a time to practice in a safe space, to listen to what it is that your body would like to tell you. When you practice, whether currently alone or in community, in a safe space, it gives us the courage and the strength to practice these same things off the mat in our communities. So now we'll send our peace and blessings to ourselves and to everyone in our lives, everyone we have yet to meet along our journey, by singing the Long Time Sunshine song. So inhale deeply. Exhale completely. And inhale to sing. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. May we be happy, may we be healthy, may we be holistically in union, mind, body, spirit. May we walk into the practice of letting go with a full heart. Sat Nam. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Stay tuned in next week for a bit more of a deep dive for Libra season. So we'll go through and I'll give you a little spiel and go over our tarot cards and our imagery that we normally do for that. And keep up to date with Buck to Basics in the studio and how we are being creative and innovating with the nature of what we are faced with now by clicking the subscribe button below and subscribing to our ever-growing library of practices and videos for you. So until next time, Sat Nam.